Once upon a time, in the sparkling kingdom of Verdonia, there lived a young princess named Lila. But Lila was not like the princesses you've read about in storybooks. She didn't enjoy wearing heavy, glittering gowns or sitting still for hours during royal lessons. She hated practicing her royal wave and thought tea parties with stiff, grumpy nobles were the most boring things in the world. "I don't want to be a princess," she groaned one morning as her maid tried to tie a large pink bow into her hair. "Why can't I climb trees or race horses like the village kids?" Her parents, King Roland and Queen Isidora, always replied with the same words, "Because you're a princess, Lila, this is your duty." But Lila didn't care about duties. She wanted adventures. One starry night, when the castle was quiet and everyone was asleep, Lila packed a small bag with bread, cheese, and her favorite wooden sword. She sneaked past the guards, climbed over the garden wall, and ran into the freedom of the dark, cool forest beyond the palace grounds. For the first time in her life, Princess Lila felt alive. She wandered through villages, sleeping under the stars and meeting new people. She helped an old baker carry flour sacks, raced with kids barefoot through muddy fields, and even learned to catch fish from a girl named Toma who lived by the river. Lila didn't tell anyone she was a princess. She was just Lila, the brave, curious girl with wild hair and a big smile. But not everything was easy. One day, while exploring a narrow path in the woods, Lila stumbled upon a group of boys bullying a smaller child named Finn. They pushed him around and laughed at his ragged clothes. Lila's heart burned with anger. She didn't have guards to protect her. She didn't have a crown to give her power. But she did have her wooden sword, and more importantly, she had courage. "Hey!" she shouted, stepping in front of Finn. "Pick on someone your own size." The boys laughed at her. "What are you going to do with that stick?" one sneered. Without a second thought, Lila raised her sword and charged. She didn't fight perfectly. She slipped in the mud, got a scratch on her cheek, and her sword even snapped in half. But her bravery surprised the bullies so much that they ran away, leaving Finn safe. Panting and muddy, Lila helped Finn to his feet. He looked at her with wide eyes. "You're so brave. Are you a knight?" Lila grinned. "Nope, I'm just me." Wow. Wasn't that a thrilling moment when Lila stood up to the bullies? Imagine being as brave as her. So, what would you do if you saw someone in need? Think about a time when you could be kind or courageous just like Lila. As the days passed, Lila realized that she didn't need to be a princess to be important. She was strong because of her choices, her kindness, her courage, and her determination to do what was right. Eventually, Lila missed her family and decided to return to the palace. She walked right through the castle gates, her clothes tattered, her face sun-kissed, and her head held high. The guards were shocked. The king and queen rushed to her, tears in their eyes. "Lila, where have you been? We were worried sick." Queen Isidora cried. Lila stood tall. "I've been living, learning, and growing. And I've realized something. I don't hate being a princess. I just hate being told who I have to be. I want to be a princess my way." Her parents looked at her, truly seeing her for the first time not just as their daughter, but as someone strong and independent. From that day on, Princess Lila changed the rules. She wore comfortable clothes instead of fancy dresses. She helped with village projects, trained with the castle guards, and even started a school to teach kids about bravery and kindness. She proved that being a princess wasn't about crowns or titles. It was about being true to yourself. And so, Princess Lila lived happily ever after, not because she was a princess, but because she was Lila. And that's how Princess Lila found her true strength. Now it's your turn. What's one thing you can do today to be more like Lila? Whether it's helping a friend, standing up for what's right, or simply being yourself, remember, you have the power. Share this story with someone who needs a little courage today. And don't forget to keep being your amazing, unique self. Moral lesson of this story is true strength comes from being true to yourself. It's not the title, the crown, or what others expect of you that makes you special. It's your courage, kindness, and the choices you make. Always be brave enough to follow your own path and stand up for what is right.